Welcome to One Brothas Mind, and I am KD Smooth. Today we will question and challenge popular information and views from a B1 perspective, while we expose the real facts you need. We do this to strengthen your logical, critical, and discerning thinking skills. Because in today's world, hard choices are mandatory and they come with consequences. So you need all the information. And at One Brothas Mind, we do this from a B1 Yeshua the Christ followers perspective. Now, if you're not ready, you better get ready with KD Smooth at One Brothas Mind. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's KD Smooth coming back at you with a new report. I pray you all are doing well. Shalom, family. In tonight's report, family, we are going to chop it up on this issue. Yeah, family. Some of you may be saying, well, what is mobile swatting? It's the same thing as the regular swatting. It's just, it's beginning to happen on an increased level while you're mobile, while you're out away from your home. And that's what we're going to chop it up here about this evening. But before we get started, family, make sure you smash the like button. Share this report on all your social media with all your peoples. And be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we try to bring you the information and facts you need. Okay, family, let's get into this. This evening's report, we're going to come to you straight out of the KD Smooth's home state of Indianapolis, Indiana. So we're going to share a quick video clip with you. And then we're going to come back and chop it up. All right. Here we go with our clip.
Tonight, an Indianapolis family wants justice and accountability, claiming they were racially profiled by a Fishers police officer. All of this unfolding during an investigation into an alleged road rage incident. Tonight, that family is taking the first steps to sue the police department. And tonight, our Emily Longnecker is looking into the traffic stop at the center of this legal battle. Emily?
Scott, I spoke with the family's attorney tonight on the phone. Attorney Faith Alvarez told me the family would like to see the officer involved in the traffic stop held accountable, but would not elaborate on what that looks like for her clients, who have described the traffic stop in a Facebook post that went viral.
The April 21st Facebook post by Malcolm Bunnell describes a traffic stop by the Fishers Police Department earlier that day. Bunnell writes, "Just a few hours ago, I was held at gunpoint in the middle of traffic by the Fishers Police Department. I was forced out of my car at gunpoint and placed in handcuffs. They then forced my girlfriend out of the car at gunpoint and placed her in handcuffs. My 4-month-old daughter was in the car." Bunnell says moments before the stop, he had pulled out of this Walmart parking lot, trying to avoid a man who followed him there after the man tried to start a fight with Bunnell while they were both in traffic. Fishers police say this man, Dustin Martin, called them to report a fight in the parking lot with another person who was driving a white Cadillac Escalade and had a gun. Bunnell was the person behind the wheel of that Escalade, which Fishers police pulled over in what they called, quote, a high-risk traffic stop, acknowledging that officers did not find a gun. In his Facebook post, Bunnell says officers told him, quote, "Hey, you got to see it from our point of view. He said you had a gun." Fishers police say when they went back to question Martin, he was gone. Bunnell's attorney says officers that day were peacefully investigating Martin, who was white. But when Martin told them the family in the Escalade was black, they left the scene to stop that family with deadly force. Investigators later tracked Martin down. He's charged with resisting law enforcement and false informing. His initial hearing was Monday.
In his Facebook post, Bunnell called the traffic stop, quote, a traumatic experience for him and his family because of what he says was implicit bias by the officers that day. Bunnell's attorney says she hopes to talk with city officials before deciding on filing a lawsuit.
Are you interested in starting your...
Just a moment here. Yeah, you heard the report Yeah. This family was a victim of being mobile swatting, a victim of mobile swatting. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing. This is a thing. Okay. Yeah. So now you're not even safe when you're out and about from swatting. Because that's literally what this happened. Most of you, or what has happened, most of you are familiar with the swatting term. So, and for those that are not, originally, swatting is a situation where you will get one person. It used to be done kind of as a prank or a joke, where you'll get one person or a group of people that will call law enforcement and send law enforcement to a house of another individual. Oftentimes it will be somebody playing video games, like, you know, some of your first person shooters games, and they would be playing with the sound in their home pretty loud. So there will be shooting sounds happening inside the home when law enforcement would show up. So a lot of times law enforcement or the SWAT teams would show up. That's where you get the swatting word. And they will go in with their boomsticks out, ready to delete any and everybody inside the home, even though it was a false report or a prank that had occurred. So, as you heard it in the report, there was some sort of disagreement, altercation at this particular Fisher's Walmart. This is actually a Walmart that I have visited on occasion here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the parties involved, the man you saw that was charged, as well as a black family, you know, they left the scene without significant incident. But that wasn't good enough for the white man you saw in the county jumpsuit. Okay, that wasn't good enough. He still had to get them, okay, if you will. So he proceeded to call the race soldiers out, so-called law enforcement out, and completely lie about everything, including that he had been assaulted or attacked in some way or another, and by this family. He gave them the description of their vehicle, and basically he had charged up law enforcement, and they went out looking for this family in this vehicle that you heard on the report. And when they located the vehicle, they pulled the family over, and like I said, they were charged up. As you saw, they made a note in the report, a highly sensitive, what did they say? It was a highly sensitive report or what have you. Let me get it right here. Hold on, bear with me just a moment. I don't wanna misspeak on this. I wanna make sure I get it right. Let's run this right back one more again. Here we go. There you go. A high-risk traffic stop. So the the law enforcement had received a report that there were persons in this vehicle with the lie that they were armed and dangerous. Is basically so. Law enforcement was charged up. So when they located this family and their vehicle, who were lied on, they came in ready with their boomsticks out, pointed directly at them, ready to delete this family. So you can imagine how terrifying that is, especially one, when it's unexpected. Two, when you have done nothing criminal at all. You haven't broken any laws. You've done nothing. At least based on your perspective, you've done nothing criminal. So to just be on the road and then all of a sudden you're surrounded by so-called law enforcement with their boomsticks out, ready to, yelling and screaming at you, ready to delete you. Yeah, I think y'all get the picture. So with that being said, again, this is a thing, family. This is a thing. It's happening to many others all across the U.S. now. But again, here, family, we're focused on what's happening primarily to the so-called black community, black family. So let's take another quick look real fast as to what, after, the police are talking about telling the family, well, y'all got to understand, we got a report. So you got to see it from our perspective, is what they said in the report. We got a report of someone or some people dangerous in a vehicle. So y'all got to understand. Well, okay, why is that the only people that need to be understood is law enforcement? How about the victims? Don't they need to be understood? They're just going about their way now after this brief disagreement or argument or whatever it was at this Walmart location. They're moving on with their lives. They haven't committed any crime. And then this is how law enforcement addresses them. And of course, the next question. Would law enforcement have addressed this family the exact same way if it was a white family, an Asian family, a Hispanic family? Yeah. And some inside information that you have to understand, family. This Walmart in this Fishers area, this is understood as to be a predominantly white suburb. So you get a white man filing a false report against a black family from a predominantly white suburb. This is what they're not. That's the pieces of the context that they're not reporting to you in this report. On purpose. Okay? So what say you? I mean, what should be done about this type of mobile swatting, or what I would define as a hate crime or domestic terrorism? That's the actual name of this type of crime. Be clear on that. how should this type of situation be handled? What should be the charges for this type of crime? Let's one more again. Let's take a quick peek at what the criminal was charged with. Here we go.
He's charged with resisting law enforcement and false informing.
Resisting law enforcement and false informing. He literally called in a false report that in most cases, or let's say in many cases, would have ended in the deletion of another person, or in this case, some black people, so-called black people. This is what he called in, but he's charged with a false report and resisting law enforcement. Does that in any way sound like what the charges should be for this fool? This fool. And again, you ask the question, does race play a part in this? For those of y'all that's saying, nah, y'all can kick rocks. Race is all over this. This guy would not have, 9 times 10, would not have made that false report and call to law enforcement if the people that he got into a disagreement with or argument with in the parking lot somewhere were also white. Why, you ask? Because he would have known 9 times out of 10 the police are not going to respond with the same level of potential deadly force as they would against a black person or a black family. He knows this. Law enforcement knows this. And the prosecutor knows this. Okay? So let's move forward, family. Right quick, I wanted to share with y'all the other aspect of this story is, as you heard in the report, after the police arrested the 2 adults and left the child in the vehicle, they searched the vehicle and they didn't find any boomstick, any power tool, no arms, right? Which that was the first sign, I guess, that told the law enforcement that they had been lied to. That's where this fool's case started, his report started falling apart. Okay? So let's imagine, family, if we already know 9 times out of 10 law enforcement would not have approached this family with this level of threat if it was, say, a white family. In fact, like I said, the report probably never even would have been made. But even if it was made, if it were a white family, they may have had their boomsticks out, maybe pointed at the ground while screaming commands, but not pointed dead directly at the driver and the passenger and what have you, where all it takes is a millisecond for a mistake or a nervous twitch to delete someone. Okay, so let's take it a step further. He reported that the people in the vehicle had a power tool, a boomstick. let's imagine if they did have one. That would have significantly increased the odds that somebody would have got deleted in just that simple traffic stop. Okay? And as you see on your screen here, in Indiana, there's a map of all the states that allow permitless carry now. So in most states, a permit is not required. So most people, or many people, are now carrying their power tools with them when they're mobile. And here we are in this type of situation with stakes this high. If they pulled over a black person or a black family and they actually have their power tool in the vehicle with them, and one of the officers sees that power tool, are they actually going to ask questions before they start letting off? Yeah, I think you get the picture. So if they had a power tool, that it just made it even worse. But again, would it have made it worse if it were, or if it had been a white family with their power tools in their vehicle? Would it have been the exact same response by so-called law enforcement, the race soldiers? I think not. So real quick, based on the charges, whether you get false report and resisting law enforcement, based on those little slap on the wrist charges that the prosecutor has charged this fool with, the real charges that this fool and all of the other Karens and Darrens that are doing these swatting calls, making false reports to the police on so-called black people and other minorities. This is literally domestic terrorism, family. And on your screen, I have for you the Indiana definition of terrorism for the Indiana state, according to the 2023 session. It says terrorism means an unlawful use of force or violence, or the unlawful threat of force or violence to intimidate or coerce a government or all or part of the civilian population. This swatting call and all the other ones, they are an unlawful, at the very least, they're an unlawful threat to intimidate or coerce. Are they not? And they're also a hate crime. Okay? You'll say, well, in Indiana, what does a hate crime, what is it? What is that? Hate crimes are an aggravating circumstance that the crime was committed with the intent to harm or intimidate an individual or group of individuals because of certain perceived or actual characteristics of the individual or group of individuals. This is exactly what this fool did and all of the other Karens and Darrens that call in these false reports. They're domestic terrorists and they are committing hate crimes. So why wasn't this fool charged with these charges? Well, here's your answer right here on your screen. Here in Indiana, in Fishers, the Hamilton County, that's Hamilton County, this is your prosecutor, Greg Garrison. All of this happened, and he only charged this fool with resisting law enforcement and false informing. Yeah. Instead of a hate crime or domestic terrorism. Why was that? For those in the far back seats, cheap seats, this is how white supremacists protect their own, how they get on cold. Even the ones that they so-called try to bring to justice. They charge them with the smallest possible, if they can find misdemeanors that'll work. They'll charge them with those and say, well, we charged them and we're prosecuting and no. On everything, family. If this fool was being charged with a hate crime and or domestic terrorism, these Karen and Darren swatting calls, false reporting calls to the police would stop for the most part tomorrow. So there's your answer as to why these things continue to happen. There's a agreement, an on-code agreement, an unofficial agreement that's happening between the county and city and state prosecutors and these type of criminals who are committing hate crimes and domestic terrorism against so-called black people in the United States. Again, they're charging with the most smallest charges or least offenses that they possibly can. So if you want to express your view on these bogus charges, this is your man. Holla at your boy, Greg Garrison in Hamilton County. He's not hard to find. Google him. Get his information and express your right as a citizen, especially the so-called black family. Express your right as a citizen at your disapproval and seek what additional things we can do as a community to stop these type of devils that's on your screen. Because it takes proper charges and consequences to stop these devils from committing these hate crimes. But you also got to deal with these devils. Okay? And these devils, and y'all done seen all of them, the Karens and Darrens, y'all see, it's always happened. And I'm pretty sure by now, most people have gotten to the point where it's so blatantly obvious, it's nobody should be in denial anymore, unless they are, well, I ain't even gonna go there, but it's undeniable at this point what's happening, what's been happening. This is the same thing that happened with our brother Emmett Till way back then. And again, the prosecutors back then let Carolyn Bryant off, where she was able to live her full life free until death. What's the difference today? None. Okay? In addition, you got another latest report there in the New York subway system, where the brother that was having some mental health struggles was attacked and strangled and deleted by a random white guy. And one, he was arrested, but they just let him turn around and let him go home. Nothing to see here, y'all. And it took many people, black, white, red, brown, blue, green, they came out and had to physically protest, get down in the subway tracks and block the subway cars themselves from being able to move. Many of them being arrested for this protest, to finally get the prosecutor there in New York to come up again with the lightest possible charges they could charge that guy, that random white vigilante guy that strangled this other human being to the point of being deleted. According to reports, he strangled him for approximately 15 minutes. And somehow he's not charged with murder, not being prosecuted for murder. Yeah. So this family is just an additional reason why, for those of you that do vote, especially in the so-called black community, why we should be demanding for our vote as a tangible an anti-black hate crime bill. I know some of y'all like, wait a minute, some of my other listeners like, hold up, ain't nobody, you going too far with all this. Really? Emma? I got something for you. Let me show you. Here are the 2020 FBI hate crime statistics for 2019 and 2020. What ethnic group do you see on your screen that has the most reported hate crimes in 2019 and 2020? Go ahead, I'll wait. Take your time. In fact, the so-called black community has more hate crimes reported in 2020 than the other three ethnic groups reports combined. Right? So, if this is true, then there should be an anti-black hate crime bill as additional protections to be put in place to help prevent and stop these statistics on your screen, right? But there was a hate crime bill and law put into place here recently. Guess which ethnic group received that hate crime law? Yeah, you see it right. Asian hate crime? This is what the fool y'all voted for signed into law. He signed in 2021 an Asian hate crime law. Wait a minute. 2020, they only had 279 hate crimes reported. The so-called black community got almost 3,000. But the president y'all voted for created a hate crime law for anti-Asian hate. Now, don't get it twisted. All hate crime towards any ethnic group is satanic and wrong and needs to be criminally punished to the full extent of the law. But why did Biden sign an anti-Asian hate crime law and not an so-called black hate crime law, when they already know and have the data, at least the crappy data that I'm showing you that's been reported? Because you have to also keep this in mind. Most hate crime laws against so-called the black community go unreported on purpose to keep those numbers down that's on your screen. Yeah. But he signs an anti-Asian American. And when this bill was being pushed, when this law was being made, they flipped the script and was talking about how, the percentage of anti-Asian hate crimes had increased. I saw a report of up to like 12%. Okay, well, based on that, if 10% increase, if you look at your numbers, would have only been like 28 additional hate crimes. Okay, let's give them 20%. What, 53 additional hate crimes? 54? Compared to almost 3,000 for the so-called black community? And that sparked the president to move and sign an anti-Asian American hate crime law? It's so clear. Look this up. You see my sources on the screen. Go to the FBI website. You'll find this chart. Total number of race, ethnic. You see it. Go there. You ain't got to take my word for it. Go there. Look these statistics up. They're all over the internets. Go check them out. Yeah, but this is what they're doing. And it doesn't matter. It don't matter whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. It doesn't matter. Conservative, it doesn't matter. They're all still practicing the same white supremacy and satanic treatment of the so-called black people here in the United States of America. Doesn't matter. Y'all better get out of that box. You dealing with the same devil. One's got a blue tie on, one's got a red. That's all this, but that's the same devil. Satan is who you dealing with. So-called black family, y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up. Why? Because they are hunting us. They've been hunting us. This ain't nothing new. It's just live on your screen, on your phone, on your computer, on your TV now. Because it's being more instances are being captured via cell phone. That's all. They are hunting us. They always have. Question is, so-called black family, what you gonna do about it? You gonna keep trying to hide? Or are you gonna defend yourself? Or wait, let's use the common popular term now. Are you gonna stand your ground? Yeah. Yeah. And I asked the question like this to the Karens and Darrens out there, to the prosecutors out there that are undercharging them on purpose for all of these so-called black American attacks that are documented, as well as the many multiple times they are going purposely undocumented. Is it not pull up 2023 and beyond yet to my so-called black family? Is it not pull up 2023 and beyond yet? Yeah. I'm just asking the question. Just asking the question, that's all. Because the only thing that's gonna even begin to get these Karen and Darren situations and this swatting, home swatting, mobile swatting, whatever you want to call it, the only thing that's going to get these things to decrease in occurrence is there must be consequences. There must be significant consequences to those who commit these heinous satanic crimes. And if your prosecutors won't, ensure justice, is it not pull up 2023 on all of them? Yeah. Again, family, remember, hit the like button, smash the like, share this report on all your social media with all your peoples, and be sure to be subscribed to One Brothas Mind, where we bring you the information and facts you need. And now, family, a word from our unofficial sponsor.
A word from the official sponsor of Black Empowerment, Power Tools. There's no telling when something's going to come up, so make sure you carry your power tools at all times. You never know when you're going to need to bring the hammer down, or when you'll have some trash that needs to be blown away, or some obstacle that requires cutting down. Don't get caught empty-handed. Keep your hammer close by. Keep that leaf blower at the ready. And always carry your steel. Power tools. Because no matter what your day job or side hustle may be, there's no excuse for not being ready to put in some work.
And this concludes this broadcast for One Brothas Mind. We thank you for joining us. And as a part of the new Black media, B1 choices are mandatory. And being on code is required. But never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.